I want to reflect for a moment because it would be a helpful show of hands. How many of you are Christian? So I guess the great majority. So this has to have some real resonance with you, being at the Sea of Galilee, considering the miracles that Jesus performed here, and it's a very powerful thing. I want to talk to you for a moment about miracles. About miracles here. So I want to do a couple of things. First, I want to address the issue of people leaving faith because they can't believe in miracles. You probably have a child or a grandchild or a niece or a nephew, went to college, and then they come back. I can't believe in this stuff. So they can't believe whether it's the splitting of the sea or the 10 plagues or Jesus walking on water or loaves feeding 500 or 5,000 people. And they can't believe it. So I have a lot of answers to that. But number one, all right, so I would say astrophysicist, Lawrence Krauss. See, she's not on IM, it's even faster. And Lawrence Krauss wrote Something from Nothing, a universe from nothing. Like, I know nothing, basically. You're now seeing knowledge from nothing. This is it, It's really embarrassing, but I don't care. So you know my secret weapon. But in any event, yes, it's a universe from nothing. So I remember, so what is his theory? He said, it makes perfect sense. We in science understand that we have a universe that came from nothing. So I just kept pushing. I'm not a physicist, obviously, but I said, I'm trying to understand. You are saying that the whole universe made itself? It came from nothing? So he said, well, it depends on what nothing means. That's it, Bill Clinton, that's it, that's my man. So help me God, that is exactly what I was thinking. It depends on the definition of is. Though Clinton was better, Clinton had a point. This guy had no point. What do you mean it depends? I remember, because I'm respectful to guests. It's a very important thing to me. I want them to show up and I don't want to humiliate them. So I just said, well, sir, with truly all respect, nothing means no thing. It's not, it's not E equals MC squared, that's a toughie. But nothing is not a toughie. It's no thing. And so, but this is so they laugh at you Christians who believe Jesus walked on water. They believe at the Jews and Christians who believe God split a sea. But they don't find that laughable. That's not, well, it depends what nothing means. But I have more evidence for what, this is my second point. Just yesterday, I was reading an article. So I'll go to my other spouse. Alan, where was the article of the one that American kids are now, the millennials are now believing in witchcraft and all sorts of stuff. Where was it from? From Market Watch at CBS? Yeah, CBS News Market Watch. So this is a mainstream media place. Millennials are increasingly not believing in Judaism and Christianity, and really Christianity, because that's the dominant religion in the U.S. And what do they believe in instead? Now, the miraculous healing of rocks and minerals and a tremendous amount of, now they don't ask, now more than ever, they believe in astrology. And that, so they will let what is your sign? And they think, yes, that was in the article, they think astrology is a science. So they're laughing at us, and look at what they're believing in. But G.K. Chesterton predicted it. He said when people stop believing in God, they don't believe in nothing, they believe in anything. That's a very important insight. It was made at the end of the 19th century. So you just remember, we have nothing to defend ourselves about. We fully acknowledge a miracle is a miracle. It's a suspension of the natural, right? According to the laws of nature, you cannot stand on water. According to the laws of nature, seas don't split in time for one group to get through and not for the other. Okay, we fully understand that, and we acknowledge it. This is a leap of faith, but you think This is the difference. We religious people, we acknowledge when we make a leap of faith. That's fine. They don't. They think that they are scientific. This is what drives you crazy. That nothing doesn't mean nothing, that's science. See, that's not a leap of faith, that's science. That's not irrational. Believing in astrology, where Jupiter was when you were born is determinative of your life. That's science. But what we believe, that's silly. But we acknowledge that we believe in it. The third point I want to make about miracles, and this is a very important point, because I'm making it now. I'm just finalizing the biggest work of my life, my commentary on the first 5 books of the Bible. Did I mention it yesterday? Yeah. Well, now I feel like a salesman. All right, this is getting a little bad. But hey, if you don't commit to it on the Sea of Galilee, I'm screwed. I mean, I got you, folks. I got you in a very vulnerable moment here, okay, You take a vow here, it goes straight up. But in all seriousness, so I'm writing this commentary, and what is the lesson? Here is the great lesson. What are the Israelites, as the earliest Jews, obviously, the Hebrews, the Israelites, what did they do within a month of 10 plagues, of manna from heaven, of a split sea? What do they do within a month? Complain. That's it. Okay, which proves Jews were involved. I'm sorry, I feel bad, but Jews are to complaints what Italians are to opera. It comes naturally. It's just a natural thing. I know it's hilarious. When I get a letter complaining about one of my sponsors, I always check the last name before I read the thing. I know, I'm a Jew, I'm allowed to say this. Christians have your own stuff. Okay, look, but my problem is Protestant weddings. Did I ever tell you about that? No. Okay. I don't know. It's too precious not to share with you. Because to see yourself from an outside perspective is just great. So I told you yesterday, I grew up in an insular world. Everything was Orthodox, Jewish. And so I'd only went to Jewish weddings. So then in my late 20s, I was finally, it was broadening my life, and I was invited to a wedding of a woman whose son was getting married. They're Protestants, so I did what I always do before Jewish weddings, and I didn't eat. Because there's so much to eat at a Jewish wedding. Okay, you're laughing in advance. That is a good sign. Well, I ended up fasting. It was like a long Yom Kippur for me. I show up, everybody's drinking. At a Jewish wedding, nobody drinks, they eat. At a Protestant wedding, I realized the bar was the key place, and there were little hors d'oeuvres and so on. Anyway, so now I eat before Protestant weddings, and I don't eat before Jewish weddings, and I'm totally fine, and everybody's happy. But everybody has their own idiosyncrasies, which is fun. But they complained. Now, why is that important? What they had was all these miracles, but you can't rely on miracles for faith. That's the lesson of that story. Because the day or the week or the month after a miracle, the individual asks, what did you do for me today? It's not enough that you did a miracle a month ago, let alone 3,000 years ago. That's the problem. I believe these miracles took place, but they're not the source of my faith. And that is what I am convinced the book of Exodus, among its many, 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 many lessons, comes to teach. Do not rely on miracles for faith. They happen and they're necessary. But beyond that, you remember miracles. One of the most common verbs used in the Torah, the first 5 books of the Bible, is remember. Because without memory, there is no faith. And that we're losing memory in America. That's the whole point. Kids they don't know what Thanksgiving means. They don't know what anything means. They don't know what the founding means. They know the founders owned slaves. That is the one fact that they know about the founders. So these lessons are huge. Miracles are powerful, but they can't be relied on. Woody Allen has a famous line: all I ask is that God sneeze, and then I'll believe in him. But it's not true. If God sneezed, he'd believe in him for a week. And then, well, what, now this week I'd like you to cough. The sneeze of last week is not sufficient. So what do we have to do, we people of faith? We have to convey our religion in rational and logical terms as well as faith terms. That's why I titled my work The Rational Bible, because we have to use reason. There was a man who passed me just, obviously he knows who he is, and I was very touched. He said, you're bringing me, or I'm very close to finally believing in God. It's because all you do is use logic. Because that's my vehicle to God is logic. Nothing else makes sense except that there is a God, and that this Bible has influenced this universe in the best way of any book that is ever written. But they don't know that either. As I said to you, I think yesterday, I don't think the average junior at Harvard can identify Cain and Abel. So we are at a place right now where this all started, and I am convinced that a big part of the fact that Israel is hated is the fact that it has influenced the world so much. And this is the influence that the world doesn't want anymore. It wants secular influence, not God-based influence. And even if half of the Israelis are secular, it doesn't matter. Israel in the totality represents that God acts in human life. As I kept saying yesterday, come on, explain to me after 2,000 years that a people comes back to its land as prophesied in a book of 2,000 years and more. There is no parallel to that. That's a bigger miracle than the splitting of the sea or walking on water. And it happened in our time. It happened in 1948. It's unbelievable. I last night I broadcast the show. Obviously, it's nighttime here when the show is on live in America. So I broadcast yesterday, and it was the Ultimate Issues Hour day, the third hour on Tuesday. And my Ultimate Issues Hour was, why is Israel the most hated country in the world? You are now present in the most hated country in the world. See how hateful the people were? Have you been noticing how despicable this place is? How you see how downtrodden the Arabs are? Can't you tell? I mean, isn't it obvious? I mean, the whole thing's a pack of lies. One of you just showed me a cartoon in today's Daily Californian, or yesterday's, the University of California Berkeley newspaper, showing Israel stomping on Palestinians as if they're insects. It's a Nazi-like cartoon. Not to mention, have you passed the Arab villages that we passed on the way here, for example, and they're beautiful. But we're hoping to go to visit one on our way back to Jerusalem today. The luckiest Arab is the Arab who lives in Israel. They're the freest Arabs in the entire Middle East. That's what you got to tell people when you go back. Yeah, I was in the country where Arabs have the most freedom in the Middle East. Here's a good riddle to pose to your son when they come back, or daughter when she comes back from Berkeley, or it doesn't matter where, University of Wyoming. And just say, I'm just curious, where do you think the freest Arab Muslims live in the Middle East? That'll be a nice little riddle to pose to them. So you're here. This is the ultimate miracle. You are sailing in a miracle. This modern state of Israel. And it is a miracle to me. I'll end with this because this always means the world to me. There are a lot of Jews here, mostly Christians, obviously, but a lot of you were Jews. And it's the intermingling. And this is America. I just want to say, so I've spoken to you about Israel and Jews. Let me just say a word about America. There's nothing like America. The way there isn't. There just isn't. And you're a living embodiment of it, and the way you interact with one another, and you don't care. You're Jewish, I'm Christian, so what? So what? We're just enjoying each other and enjoying this and enjoying America. So from the bottom of my heart, I will end this talk with God bless America. And I'll see you soon, and enjoy your trip, and thank you so much. Great to be with you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dennis. I'm Phil with Salem Radio Network, and when I listen to Dennis every day, but when I hear him speak in person at a place like this, I realize how fortunate we are to have you working for us at Salem. And Dennis is going to do a show Monday live at the hotel in Jerusalem, so we want you all there.